I actually was uh, disturbed by some of his response
Mhm.
to some of the things that I had brought up in the Making of Biblical Womanhood. For example, he admits this in not talking to me, but he admits he had this attitude in this book, and it has to do with Mary Magdalene. And I mean, I remember he really did stump me because he asked me on the podcast. He said, "Well, I don't get why Mary Magdalene, taking the news of the gospel back is any different than like if you're sitting in a cafe and you see the Pope down the street and you run off to go tell your friends." And I think my mouth fell open at that point because I was like, is this a serious question? Do you really not get that? I don't understand.
Mm.
And he says that almost verbatim in this book. He says, I used to think that Mary Magdalene taking the
Mhm. I
gospel
remember that.
back was nothing more than her just relaying news.
Mhm.
And he said, and now I realize that throughout, and he does pull in history here, that that's not the way that this was ever seen in
Right,
the church. And what she was doing was actually an act of preaching, of
right.
bringing the gospel, of evangelism. All of those things is what Mary
Mhm.
Magdalene is doing in that moment. And that Jesus, the fact that Jesus makes a woman be the
Mhm.
carrier of that news is really
Yeah,
significant. And he says that now. And so I
yeah.
I just want to say I was really glad to see that and to
Mhm.
it a lot of people don't admit when they're wrong, and so
Right.
I was pleased to see that in the book, that he did admit when he was wrong.